While fans at Disneyland Paris were treated to a surprise visit from the Pirates of the Caribbean cast on Monday, Disney's CEO was in New York discussing the company's growing problem with piracy. Bob Iger revealed that hackers claim they have a Disney movie, threatening to release it unless the studio pays a ransom.
He wouldn't disclose how much they were asking for, and he wouldn't disclose what movie it was, and there's a few ideas going around that it's a recent release or maybe something even bigger down the line.
Disney's upcoming releases include Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales,
Follow him in.
which opens on Friday, and Cars 3, set for release in June.
The beach ate me.
Both expected to gross more than $500 million at the global box office.
I'm coming for you, Storm.
Whether either of these is the movie being held to ransom has not been confirmed by the company. But the hackers say they will release 5 minutes of the film and then further 20-minute chunks until their financial demands are met. The hack doesn't appear to be related to the ongoing cyber attack against global businesses that uses a vulnerability in Microsoft Windows. And while movie piracy has been a problem for studios, films being held to ransom is a new twist. Recently, an entire season of Orange is the New Black was uploaded online before Netflix released it.
The only way out is for us to come together.
Because the streaming service refused to pay the hackers' ransom. While balancing the demands for money against the fears of stolen data ending up online, the FBI's advice to studios is pay the ransom. The agency's Los Angeles offices has been overwhelmed with requests to investigate these cases. But in California, the losses would have to exceed $50,000 before it investigates, an amount hackers rarely exceed. Although the financial demands aren't much more than a week's stay at a fancy Cannes hotel, only one Hollywood company has paid the ransom demanded. Others, like Disney, are waiting to see what the financial cost will be to their business.
This has gone far enough.
Andre-Pierre du Plessis, TRT World.
I saw her ankles.
Joining me now from Naples in Italy is Pierluigi Paganini. He's the head of the cybersecurity services at Grant Thornton Consultants. Pierluigi, thank you ever so much for joining us on Money Talks. Now, this attack on Disney, how does it differ from the ransomware attack that we saw last week that targeted around 200,000 people around the world?
Two different kind of attacks, totally different. In the first case, so in the Disney treats, we are facing with a group of criminals that probably are trying to extort money from the company after they have hacked the server where these films, these movies were stored. Okay. On the other side, I believe that we have a group of cyber criminals that is using ransomware, that is a specific kind of malware, in order not only to extort money, because I believe that in that attack there is no extortion intent in the attack itself, but as a demonstrative act due to the presence of a kill switch in the software itself.
But in the ransomware attack, they were still going after money, although the sums were quite small, though.
Yeah, you are right, but you have to consider that usually ransomware campaigns are very huge, so they target millions of users on the internet. And even if there is a small quantity, a small amount of money that is requested to the victim, on the large scale, it's a lucrative business. It's a great business for cyber criminals.
Should other companies be worried about the kind of attack that just took place on Disney?
Well, basically, any company in any industry have to protect its main asset, the intellectual properties. So basically cyber criminals, but also other kind of threat actors like nation-state actors could hit any company worldwide. That's why I always say that a proper security posture for any company is essential in order to protect the intellectual properties and in order to protect their data. Today, data is the main asset of any company.
Interesting point that you make. The other similar attack, and tell me if I'm wrong in calling it a similar attack, but last year in Bangladesh, well, Bangladesh's central bank, they saw about $81 million taken out of their account from the New York Federal Reserve. Any similarities to that attack?
No, as I told you before, in that case, if you are speaking about the wave of attacks that hit the Bangladesh bank, but also many other banks, are moved basically by a specific kind of threat actor. We believe that behind the bank attacks, there is a group that is known as Lazarus, and the Lazarus is known as APT. The APT are Advanced Percentage Threats. So this means that are well-founded groups. In many cases, these groups work directly for governments and have huge resources in terms of hacking tools, hacking capabilities. In many cases, these groups are also able to use very sophisticated weapons.
Looking at both the ransomware attacks that we had last week and also the Disney attacks, the amounts that are being asked are relatively small. Could these amounts get bigger over time?
Yeah, sure. It depends on how many victims, in the case of the last wave of attacks, will be compromised. In the case of Disney, of course, we are speaking about a major company that expect a lot of earnings from the release of the film itself. So for the company, this kind of incident is very dangerous.
Pierluigi Paganini in Naples, thank you so much.